The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you, transcribed by the Kraft Foods Company. 20 years ago, the Kraft Foods Company introduced a wonderful new salad dressing, a superbly smooth, delicious salad dressing called Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip was so remarkably good that it soon became the most popular salad dressing ever created. Now Miracle Whip outsells the next 20 leading brands of salad dressing combined. And good cooks everywhere depend on it to make their salads taste better. To bring out the best in your salads, use the one and only Miracle Whip salad dressing. Well, there's an air of mystery about the great Gildersleeve's house today, and it seems to center around the kitchen. Birdie waited until everybody got out of the house. Then she went to work. Now, the same gentle breeze that tugs the autumn leaves from the trees is bearing the pleasant aroma of something baking out of the kitchen and down the street.
Birdie's a modest cook, but even Birdie's got to admit that cake smells good. I better leave the spoons and the bowls for Leroy to lick. Now, let me take one more peek in the oven, easy like. Just like I thought. That cake's okay. That cake's good enough to win a prize at anybody's county fair. Now, if nothing happens to make it fall, I got a cake that is a cake.
Come on in, Marvin. Okay.
Leroy.
Yeah?
I got a cake in the oven.
I know. We smelled it 5 blocks away.
Yeah, you ran all the way.
Shh, not so loud, Marvin. That cake will fall.
If it does, I'll catch it.
Hey, Birdie, can we have a big slice when it's ready?
Ain't nobody getting a slice of this cake. Birdie's entering this cake in the county fair.
Yeah?
That is, if it turns out good and don't fall.
Slam the door again, Leroy. I'm hungry.
Marvin, you're quite a kidder.
Who's kidding?
Birdie, how about us scraping the mixing bowl?
Well, I saved the spoon and the bowl for you boys. They're on the sideboard.
I get the bowl.
I get the bowl.
Now, if you boys ain't quiet, you'll get the gate. Now, there's 2 spoons, so dig in.
Boy, this is good.
Marvin, not so fast.
It's the only way I'll get any.
This is great, Birdie.
It was great.
Thank you.
Birdie, I didn't know you were entering a cake contest.
Well, I've been keeping it a secret. Now, don't you tell Mr. Gildersleeve.
Why not?
If I win, we'll tell him, but if I lose, he don't have to know nothing about it.
Oh, you'll win. Besides, Unc knows you're the best cook in the world.
Could be, but Birdie's like the New York Yankees. Every year she's got to prove it.
Hey, how do I know Birdie's such a good cook? She hasn't proved anything to me.
And I ain't gonna prove nothing to you with this cake. Now, you 2 scoop. I got to take it out the oven and get to the market.
Oh, go ahead. We'll watch it for you.
I ain't trusting nobody with this cake.
Hello, I'm home. Birdie? Leroy? Where is everybody? Smell something good in the kitchen. Wonder what's going on back here. Sing now. What a cake. Yeah, I don't know if I can wait till dinner. Oop. Somebody at the door. Cake, you were saved by the bell. Yeah, that must be Peavy to pick up his hacksaw. Coming! Hello, Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, come in. Yeah, I guess you came for your hacksaw. Sorry, I didn't get around to returning it.
That's all right. You've only had it a year.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it's been a year since I've seen my saw.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's a little witticism, Mr. Gildersleeve. Seen saw.
I got it.
Well, if you're not going to laugh, you can't borrow my saw again.
All right, Peavy.
That's the last time you'll see my saw.
Peavy, please.
I figured Birdie's cooking up something in the kitchen.
Well, she isn't here right now. But come on back. I want to show you something.
Yeah?
The most beautiful cake you've ever seen. Yeah. Feast your eyes on that.
My. Is that all I can feast?
No, what the heck. Let's sample it.
Well, I didn't think we should, Mr. Gildersleeve. That's too beautiful to cut.
No, nonsense. Probably for dinner. Birdie'd be disappointed if you refused to sample her cake.
Oh, well, if you put it that way.
Sure. Pull up a chair while I get some plates.
Very well.
There we are.
Isn't often a man sees a cake like this. I bet that icing's an inch thick.
Yeah. See how it cuts. This cake is light as a feather.
Well, in that case, I guess you can make the pieces pretty big.
You bet. There you are.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, don't thank me. Thank Birdie. Let's pitch in.
I'm pitching. This is a Jim Dandy.
Yes, it is.
It's the best cake I ever tasted.
Well, Birdie will be delighted to hear that.
I'd like to have the recipe to take home to Mrs. Peavy's mother.
Say, your mother-in-law is visiting you, isn't she?
Yes, and she considers herself quite a cook. She could use a good recipe, I'm here to tell you.
Well, here's Birdie's notebook on the sink. Open at the recipe.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll make a copy of it.
No, not at all. It says flour, eggs, Kraft oil. Everything your mother-in-law wants is on this paper.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you can't get everything my mother-in-law wants on one piece of paper.
Have another piece of cake. I never saw anybody enjoy cake the way Peavy did. Say, I might just have another piece. Still an hour before dinner. Maybe longer. Birdie hasn't even come back from the market. Sure. If I eat this slice, the cake will be exactly half gone. You might as well be neat about this.
Come in, Marvin.
I'm in.
Hi, Unc.
Hello, Leroy. Marvin.
Hi.
Say, Unc. Unc, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Does Birdie know you're eating that cake?
I haven't seen Birdie.
Oh, boy. This is going to be brutal.
What's that?
Unc, I hate to tell you this, but Birdie didn't want anybody to touch that cake.
Leroy, I don't usually sample Birdie's desserts before dinner, but I wanted Mr. Peavy to try it.
Mr. Peavy's in this, too?
Mr. Peavy's smart. He beat it.
Marvin, what are you talking about?
Look, Unc.
Let him alone. The damage is done.
But gosh, Marvin, Unc shouldn't have eaten that cake.
Well, we probably did eat more than we should have. Would you boys like a little sliver?
Nuh-uh.
That isn't like you, Leroy. How about you, Marvin?
I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Oh?
If I did and got run out of town, my parents would miss me.
Run out of town?
When I didn't come home for dinner, my parents would say, I wonder where Marvin is.
Oh.
And when I didn't come home to my little bed, they'd phone the police and say, where is Marvin?
What's this all about?
Pretty soon, everybody would be going around asking, whatever happened to poor Marvin? Then my parents would phone you and say, where is Marvin? And you'd say, Marvin was chased out of town by Birdie.
Marvin, why would Birdie chase you out of town?
She isn't going to chase me. I didn't eat her cake.
Birdie baked that cake for the county fair.
Oh! She did?
Here she comes.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's get out of here, Marvin.
Not me. I want a ringside seat.
I'm home, boys. Hello, Miss Gildersleeve.
Hello, Birdie.
My land, who's been into my cake?
Not me.
Not me.
Me.
You, Miss Gildersleeve?
Sorry, Birdie. I didn't know you baked it for the county fair.
That cake was going to be the prize-winning cake.
I had no idea, Birdie.
I spent a lot of time on that cake. Now it's half gone.
Oh, is it too late to bake another one for the fair?
No, sir, I can bake another one. That is, if you didn't eat up that recipe, too.
No, the recipe's right here.
That's Birdie's secret recipe.
Secret recipe?
Nobody ain't got that recipe but Birdie.
Well,
I thought I was all set for the fair.
sorry, Birdie. But it's such a wonderful cake, I couldn't
It was a wonderful cake. Birdie whipped it up and put it in the oven, baked it, and iced it. It was a wonderful cake.
I know, Birdie.
Yes, sir, it was a wonderful cake.
Hey, Birdie, please.
Miss Gildy, you know what that cake is?
Yes, Birdie.
That's right, it was a wonderful cake.
What you're so worried about, Unc? Birdie said she'd bake another cake tender in the fair.
Well, don't tell Birdie. But I let Peavy copy off her secret recipe.
Is Mr. Peavy going to bake a cake?
No, he was going to give it to his mother-in-law. First thing you know, everybody in town will have it.
Oh, I get it.
So I have to get the recipe from Peavy before anything like that happens.
Gosh, Marvin and I could have saved you all this trouble
How?
by eating the cake before you did.
Yes. Hello, Peavy.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. Leroy.
Hi.
What can I do for you two?
I'll have a double banana split.
Not just before dinner.
You ate half a cake before dinner.
Well,
Mr. Gildersleeve, did you get in that cake again?
yeah, but I didn't know what I was eating.
I did. I was eating cake.
Peavy, that was Birdie's secret recipe.
It was?
And I'll have to ask you to give it back.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve, but Mrs. Peavy's mother came by the store and I gave it to her.
Oh, my goodness.
And I bragged on the cake so much, she said she was going to bake it and enter it in the county fair.
Oh, brother.
Peavy, that's exactly what Birdie's going to do.
You don't say.
And if somebody else turns up at the fair with a cake like Birdie's, I don't know what will happen.
I do. Everybody will ask, what happened to poor Mr. Gildersleeve?
Leroy, this is serious.
Yes, it is.
You just have to go to your mother-in-law and forbid her to use the recipe.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you just don't go to Mrs. Peavy's mother and forbid her.
Can't you explain things? Can't you make her see it your way?
I find it difficult to get Mrs. Peavy's mother to see anything my way.
Peavy, you've got to help me.
I wish I could, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, do it. Surely you're not afraid of your mother-in-law.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
The great Gildersleeve will be back in just a minute. Tonight, I'm going to tell you about a surprisingly different salad. One that'll be a special favorite with your youngsters. It's a salad that's full of vitamins, and it's a salad that's good eating, too, because you top it with Miracle Whip salad dressing. Miracle Whip has just the lively, teasing flavor you like, a flavor you won't find in any other salad dressing, because Miracle Whip is made from a secret craft recipe that combines the qualities of old-fashioned boiled dressing and fine, rich mayonnaise. Miracle Whip is blended with special craft beaters so carefully, so thoroughly, that Miracle Whip has the smoothest, creamiest texture you've ever seen in salad dressing. What more could you ask? Just a super salad to go with this fine salad dressing, that's all. And here it is. Start with peeled bananas that you've sliced in half lengthwise. Dip the banana halves in lemon juice so they won't turn dark. Then spread one banana half with peanut butter and cover with a plain banana half. Place each peanut butter stuffed banana on some crispy lettuce and garnish with Miracle Whip and a maraschino cherry. Just try it. See how delicious it is. Bring home a jar of Miracle Whip salad dressing tomorrow and enjoy it on fruit salads, gelatin salads, vegetable salads, and on meat and seafood salads, too. It's America's favorite salad dressing, the one and only Miracle Whip. Well, the great Gildersleeve unwittingly ate the cake Birdie baked to enter in the county fair. And that isn't all. He gave Birdie's prize recipe to Mr. Peavy, who in turn gave it to his mother-in-law. Now he has to get it back.
The least you can do is phone her, Peavy.
Well, I'd rather phone her than ask her in person.
Is she dangerous?
No, she isn't dangerous, Leroy.
Surely she'll give back Birdie's recipe. She can't be that unreasonable.
Well, I wouldn't say she's unreasonable.
You wouldn't dare, huh?
It's just that she's hard to pin down.
Well, go on and phone her, Peavy.
Yeah, very well.
You mind if we listen?
Well, I've been listening for years. I don't know why you shouldn't.
This is the Peavy residence.
Mama, this is Richard.
Nobody here but me, Richard.
Well, Mama, you're just the one I want to talk to.
Well, don't talk long. I got a cake in the oven.
Whoop. She's baking it already.
Mama, that cake is the reason I called.
Oh, for pity's sake, how did you know I had it in the oven?
You just told me.
Well, I wondered. Because the only other person I've told is that Mrs. Clausen across the fence.
Tell her we want the recipe, Peavy.
Mama, Mr. Gildersleeve wants the recipe.
Now, doesn't that beat all? Mrs. Clausen wants the recipe, too.
But Mr. Gildersleeve...
She yoo-hooed to me across the fence when I came home. And I said to her, how do you do, Mrs. Clausen? And she said, if you have a minute, will you step over to the fence? And I was going over the fence anyway.
I see.
So I said, why, yes, I'll come over to the fence because I was going over anyway. You see, I wanted to show her the recipe. Are you still there, Richard?
I'm still here. And, Mama, don't give that recipe to anybody. Mr. Gildersleeve's housekeeper wants to enter it in the county fair.
I don't blame her. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
She can't do that.
Mama, listen. Mr. Gildersleeve wants that recipe back.
But you said he gave you the recipe to give to me.
He did, but he's changed his mind.
Well, just because he's wishy-washy, I don't have to be.
But Mama...
If you take my advice, Richard, you'll associate with people who know their own minds.
Peavy, tell her.
Mama...
I have to go now, Richard. I have a cake in the oven. Goodbye.
But, Mama... Yeah, fiddlesticks. Goodbye.
Peavy, why didn't you tell her?
Like I say, you can't tell Mrs. Peavy's mother.
I smell that wonderful cake again. Guess Birdie's got another one in the oven. What's she going to do when she takes her cake to the fair and sees one just like it? Well, it's all my fault. Best thing to do is go in and admit it. Honest confession may be good for the soul, but it's hard on the nerves. Birdie?
Yes, Miss Gildersleeve?
About that cake of yours. I'm sorry to have to tell you.
Oh, Miss Gildersleeve, forget about that cake. I got another one coming up that's better than the last one.
Well, I know, but...
Birdie, don't blame you for eating that other cake. When you slipped in and ate that cake, that was a compliment to Birdie's cooking.
Yeah, but Birdie, what I want to explain...
You don't have to explain nothing, Mr. Gildersleeve. You slipped in and ate it, and if cake's that good, it's bound to win the first prize.
Yeah, well, I agree, Birdie,
There won't be any cake at that fair as good as Birdie's secret recipe cake.
But what if somebody else baked a cake just like it?
Oh, how can they do that? I'm the only one that's got the recipe, and we ain't got no spies around here.
No.
Well, if anybody comes sabotaging around here, Birdie will be after him with the frying pan.
I feel like Benedict Arnold. Birdie's so happy I can't tell her I gave away her cake recipe. I have to think of something. Yeah, guess I'll step in Floyd's and get a haircut. Maybe if I get some of the hair off my head, I can think better.
Well, if it ain't the commish.
Hello, Floyd.
I thought you was due for a haircut. Hop up in the chair.
Just a trim, Floyd.
Sure. Hey, I saw you jaywalking across the street. I wish you wouldn't do that, commish.
Was I jaywalking?
Yeah. The police have a drive on now, and it makes me nervous to cut hair in the jail.
Well, jail might be a good place for me, Floyd.
What's the matter, commish? You short at the water department?
Of course not, Floyd. I'm worried because I'll be in trouble with Birdie when the county fair opens tomorrow.
She want the day off?
No, it isn't that.
I'm taking the day off. I always had a soft spot for fairs. That's where I met my wife, Lovey.
Yeah?
On the Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel?
Yep. We was total strangers, but the man thought we was together and put us in the same seat. It was sort of fate-like.
Well, that's how you met, huh?
You ain't heard the half of it. The wheel stuck when we was right at the top. We ran out of things to talk about, and by the time they got us down, we was engaged.
So that's how it happened.
Yep, and the guy didn't even give us a refund. What's Birdie's beef?
Well, Birdie baked the most wonderful cake to enter in the county fair.
Oh, nobody can cook any better than Birdie. Of course, I don't get invited over to your place very often.
Soon, Floyd. Soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, before I knew Birdie was entering the cake, I gave the recipe to Peavy, and he gave it to his mother-in-law.
Yeah?
Now she's going to enter the same cake in the fair.
Well, why don't you tell Peavy to get the recipe back from his mother-in-law, Commish?
Peavy tried, but he didn't get very far.
Well, you got to be cagey when you're dealing with in-laws. You know how I handled mine?
How?
I moved to another town.
Oh, my goodness. Mrs. Peavy's mother didn't seem to understand the situation.
Why don't you call on her personally, Commish?
Me?
Hey, you got a way with women.
Well, Right, George, why don't I go out there and have a talk with her?
Yeah, turn on the charm.
When she understands that Birdie has prior rights to the recipe, we won't have any trouble.
Nah. And you still got an ace up your sleeve.
Yeah?
You tell her if she don't give it back, you'll cut off Peavy's water.
Well, it was very considerate of you, Peavy, to come along and introduce me to your mother-in-law.
Well, I'm happy to do it for Birdie. But I'm going to introduce you, and that's all, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, don't worry. I'll take it from there. I'll come right to the point.
It's pretty hard to get Mama to come to the point.
Yeah, you're just gun-shy, Peavy.
Who's there?
It's me, Mama, Richard.
Hope you wiped your feet on the mat before you came in.
Yes, I did. Mr. Gildersleeve, every time I come into this house, she sticks a broom in my hand.
Put you to work, huh?
Just can't stand an untidy house. Oh, company. And I'm not tidied up.
Well, not company, Mama. This is Mr. Gildersleeve.
How do you do, Mrs. Mama? Delighted to meet you.
So you're Mr. Gildersleeve. I declare, Richard, he reminds me of somebody I know back home.
Oh?
Now, let me see. Is it one of the Sherwood boys? No. No, it's the man who cleans out my furnace. Oh, he gets so dirty.
Yeah, well, the reason I came over...
You know, all of my neighbors put in oil furnaces, but I've stuck to coal. There's something solid about coal.
You're so right.
Mama, Mr. Gildersleeve came over to talk to you about that cake recipe.
Yes, you see, Mrs. Mama...
I bet you want to see my cake. Come right into the kitchen.
Well, I'm sure it's a very wonderful cake, but...
Wonderful. It's going to win first prize, that's all. There it sits on the kitchen table. Isn't that a beauty?
Yes, it is.
It looks just like Birdie's.
By the way, I mustn't forget to give the recipe to Mrs. Clausen across the fence.
About the recipe, Birdie is very anxious that nobody use it.
Oh, she can't be. Why would she give it away in the first place?
That was my fault. As a matter of fact, Birdie is entering her cake in the county fair.
That's exactly what I plan to do.
You see what I mean, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yeah, I think I do. But, Mama, since it's Birdie's mystery recipe...
There's no mystery about it. It's written right here on a piece of paper.
But Birdie...
I've never seen a cook yet who wasn't flattered if somebody wanted her favorite recipe.
But in this case...
Of course, she may not admit it. Like the woman back home, what is her name? She's a member of my sewing circle. What is her name?
Well, it'll come to you. Now
for
then...
pity's sake, I get so put out with myself for not remembering. Anyway, when I came here to visit at Richard, she sent me a postcard. Now, where did I put that postcard?
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't worry about it right now. Let's get back to Birdie's...
If you'll excuse me just a minute, I'll find that postcard. What is her name? What is her name?
Peavy, I give up.
That's what it says.
Richard!
Yes, Mama?
While I think about it, will you put my cake in the cupboard?
Very well, Mama. I'd like to have a piece of this cake. Too bad she's sending it to the fair.
By George, it's now or never. Something has to happen to that cake. Peavy, how about letting me put the cake in the cupboard? I'm taller than you.
I'd hate to drop it.
Yes, indeed. Of course, if I should drop it, it'd be an accident.
It'd be an accident, all right.
Let go of the cake, Peavy.
Mr. Gildersleeve, on second thought, Mama asked me to...
Give me the cake, Peavy.
Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh!
Now, look at that. All over the floor.
Yeah, I'll take the blame.
Richard, what was that crash?
All right, take it.
Sorry, Mama. I dropped the cake.
Oh, what a pity. Well, Richard, you won't have any for dinner.
That cake was for my dinner?
Well, I thought you were going to compete with Birdie in the county fair.
Oh, I wasn't going to enter it in your fair.
You weren't.
No, this was a test cake. When I get home, I'm going to bake one for my county fair.
Oh, that's different.
Yes, it is.
Richard, get the broom and sweep up.
I've got the broom and I'm going to mop up.
Peavy, don't you put down that broom!
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in just 30 seconds. Mom, make that job of sandwich fixing for the lunchbox brigade easier. Post a list of favorite sandwich fillers in the kitchen so you won't find yourself out of ideas at the last minute. And for your egg salad, meat salad, or seafood salad fillers, be sure you use the salad dressing everyone likes, Miracle Whip salad dressing. Miracle Whip has a wonderful, lively, teasing flavor, a flavor millions call just right. For truly delicious sandwiches, get the one and only Miracle Whip salad dressing.
Leroy!
Yeah, Birdie?
My cake won first prize at the fair.
Yeah. Congratulations, Birdie.
Miss Gildersleeve?
Yes, Birdie?
My cake took the blue ribbon and took the first prize at the fair.
Yeah, I heard about that. Congratulations, Birdie.
Hey, where is the cake?
Oh, I gave it away.
Oh, grown.
You gave it away, Birdie?
Yes, sir, I gave it to Mr. Peavy and his mother-in-law.
You did?
Yes, sir. When you dropped her cake, you was trying to do the right thing by me, so I tried to do the right thing by you.
Yeah, thanks, Birdie.
Why doesn't somebody do the right thing by me? I haven't even tasted the cake.
I'll bake you another one, Leroy.
Swell.
Birdie's prize-winning cake.
Say, the Kraft people will be interested in Birdie's cake recipe, and I'll bet all of our friends will, too. So, listen in next week, everybody, and see what happens. Have your ears glued to the radio.
Won't that be uncomfortable?
Leroy. Good night, folks.
Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman and is an NBC Radio Network production. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White and is transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Lillian Randolph, Duffy Singer, Arthur Bryan, Elizabeth Patterson, and Dick LeGrand. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve.
You know, done up just right, a delicious hamburger can be truly a gourmet's delight. A big deal in eating pleasure. Of course, just about every good cook knows that a dash of Kraft prepared mustard really makes a hamburger. Because when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. Kraft mustard, naturally. There are two kinds of Kraft prepared mustard. Mild Kraft mustard, if you like it smooth and delicately spiced. Snappy Kraft mustard with horseradish added, if you like it zippy. Get both kinds of Kraft prepared mustard at your food store.
Tonight, enjoy You Bet Your Life with Groucho Marx on NBC.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you, transcribed by the Kraft Foods Company. How'd you like to own a brand new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years? This is first prize in Kraft Oil's sensational Name the Cake contest. All you do to win is name a wonderful new cake made with Kraft Oil. The recipe comes free with every bottle. Bake it, name it, and win a new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years, or one of 1,850 Dormeyer electric appliances. Listen for complete details in a few minutes. Well, even in a town the size of Summerfield, there are times when Mr. Peavy has very little to do but listen to the sounds go by his pharmacy. Without taking his eyes off his crossword puzzle, he can identify them. For instance, he knows this is Mrs. Fletcher, who runs the beauty parlor next door, parking her car. She's late again. And when Mr. Peavy hears something like this coming down the street... he knows it's a horse. And when he hears these steps, which he does every day, he knows it isn't a horse, because horses don't come in his store.
Hello, Peavy. Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. Baboon.
Who, me?
No, I'm putting down a word in this crossword puzzle.
Oh.
What can I do for you today?
I'll have a cup of coffee, Peavy.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you dropped in.
What's on your mind, Peavy?
Mr. Gildersleeve, would you care to join me in some form of mild exercise these evenings?
Exercise?
We could bowl, swim at the Y, toss the medicine ball.
What a picture. A druggist tossing the medicine ball.
It is a pretty big pill, all right.
What gave you this idea?
Mrs. Peavy.
Oh?
She got out the old album the other night and took a look at our wedding picture. She shook her head and said, Mr. Peavy, you're not the man I married.
She did?
And I told her I was twice the man she married. Around the waist, anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
But I think Mrs. Peavy's right about the exercise. I've been tied down to the pharmacy pretty much the past 30 years.
Well, a man ought to exercise at least once every 30 years.
That's what I say. How about going bowling tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night? Oh, I'm sorry, Petey.
Well, if you feel bowling is a little strenuous, how about starting with marbles?
Oh, I'm not available. I think I'm babysitting tomorrow night.
Blonde or brunette?
No, I don't have a date. But Marjorie's going over to Mother Thompson's, where little Linda is spending the week, so I'll be sitting with Ronnie.
Well, I thought Birdie usually stayed with Marjorie's children.
Well, I just talked to Birdie before I left the office, and she's going to be on the radio tomorrow night.
You don't say.
Yeah. You know, her cake won first prize at the county fair.
She deserved it. That was a fine cake.
Well, first it was just going to be an interview, and then they found out she sings, and now it looks like Birdie's going to put on a show for them.
My.
She's quite excited about it. You'll have to listen in.
I'd like to, but I'd better get some exercise and take off a little weight.
Peavy, you can get your exercise next week.
Mrs. Peavy expects me to start getting my weight down this week.
Yeah, all right. Now I know who carries the weight around your house.
Well, now, well, maybe she does at that.
Birdie?
Oh, hello, Miss Marjorie.
When I came home, I found a note on my door saying you wanted to see me.
Oh, yes, I'm terribly sorry, Miss Marjorie, but I can't babysit tomorrow night.
Oh?
I got good news. Birdie's going to be on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am. Birdie's going to be on the radio tomorrow night. She's going to talk about cooking, and she's going to sing a song.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hi.
Hello, Leroy.
Hello, Leroy. Ain't that exciting, Miss Marjorie?
What's exciting?
Oh, it certainly is. How did it happen, Birdie?
Yeah, how did what happen?
Well, the man who's got the cooking program called.
What's cooking?
Oh, please, Leroy. Birdie's trying to tell me something.
Oh.
Well, the man wants me on the radio.
What man? What radio?
Because my cake won first prize.
Is that all you have to do to get on the radio? Bake a cake?
Oh, Birdie, I'm so happy for you.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, me too, but I'll be slap happy if you don't tell me what's going on.
Leroy, Birdie's going to appear on the radio tomorrow night because her cake won first prize at the county fair.
Well, why didn't you say so? Gee, that's swell, Birdie.
Oh, thank you.
And she's going to sing, Leroy.
Yeah? How'd they know you could sing, Birdie?
Well, they found out in sort of a roundabout way.
Yeah? How?
I told them.
Birdie.
Yes, and they asked me what I could do, and I told them I'd sing, dance, juggle.
You can't juggle.
Well, Birdie could learn by tomorrow night. Birdie'd stand on her head to get on the radio.
Well, I guess I'll have to get Unky to sit with Ronnie tomorrow night.
Hey, how about me babysitting for you, Marge, huh? How about it? 50 cents an hour?
Why should I pay you 50 cents an hour?
35? 30? 25?
Leroy, why should I pay even 25 cents an hour when Unky will do it for nothing?
Well, you only get what you pay for. Why accept an inferior product?
Now, don't let Unky hear you say that. Besides, you never sat with babies.
What's the sitting? How about it, Marge? Can I? I'm broke. I need the money.
Now, Leroy...
No kidding. I'm flat. I haven't got a dime. I can't even go to a movie. I have to stand in the street and watch television through the store windows.
What a pitiful picture.
Yeah.
All right, you can babysit tomorrow night.
Swell.
Hello, everybody. I'm home.
That's you, Miss Gildersleeve?
Yes, Birdie?
I thought that was you.
Birdie, if you're going to sing tomorrow night, save your voice.
Oh, I've been saying it. I'm just beginning to let it out a little bit.
Say, I better tell Margie I'll sit with Ronnie tomorrow night now that you can't do it.
I think Leroy's going to sit with little Ronnie.
Leroy? He doesn't know anything about babysitting. Yeah, I'll tell him I'll take over. Leroy!
Yeah?
What's this I hear about you babysitting?
Yeah, Margie's letting me stay with Ronnie.
Well, it's nice of you to volunteer, my boy, but I think you're a little young for that responsibility.
Young? Are you kidding?
Leroy, you wouldn't know what to do. You haven't had any experience with children.
Gosh, I was one myself. What better experience can you have?
I mean experience babysitting.
Well, when I was a baby, I was sat with, and I watched.
If I remember correctly, you were practically sat on. You were a handful.
That's why I'll make such a good babysitter. I know all the tricks to watch for.
Well, I'm sorry, my boy, but it's a school night, and you shouldn't be up late.
Oh, for corn's sake.
Besides, we have to think of little Ronnie. The child has to feel safe and protected.
Okay, I'll protect him. I'll take my Junior G-Man badge.
No, with me in the house, little Ronnie will feel he's well taken care of. And that's important to young children.
Well, Ronnie and I get along great. We play together all the time. He wouldn't be afraid with me. Miss Gildersleeve!
Yes, Birdie?
Have a little visitor.
Oh?
Go on in, Ronnie. Miss Gildersleeve and Leroy's in the parlor.
Hi, Leroy.
Hi, kid.
Well, Ronnie.
How, Uncle Mort?
We were just talking about you.
I didn't do anything.
No, we didn't mean that. I was just trying to prove a point to Leroy.
Okay, Unc, you can babysit. I give up.
No, wait a minute. Don't take that attitude. I want you to know why you shouldn't sit. Now, we'll leave it up to the child.
What child?
You. Now then, Ronnie, you know what you want. You have a mind of your own. When your mommy leaves you tomorrow night and you have to be tucked into your little bed, all alone, who would you rather have with you, Leroy or good old Uncle Mort?
I want Leroy.
Oop. Leroy, I'm babysitting. He isn't old enough to know what he wants.
The great Gildersleeve will be back in just a moment. Somebody's going to win a new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years. It could be you. And 1,850 other families are going to win valuable Dormeyer electric appliances. To win one of these wonderful prizes, all you do is name a luscious new cake that's made with Kraft oil. It's easy. You'll find the cake recipe printed on the inside of the label when you buy a green-capped bottle of Kraft oil. Just bake it and send Kraft the name you think best describes how good it is. First prize is a smart new Ford every year for 5 years. You get a deluxe Ford Victoria the first year and then trade it in on a new model every year for the next 4 years at no further cost to you. Additional prizes include 100 Dormeyer electric broiler rotisseries, 200 Dormeyer electric blankets, 200 Dormeyer power mixers, 250 Dormeyer portable mixers, and 1,100 Dormeyer fry wells. Altogether, 1,851 prizes. You'll find entry blanks for Kraft Oil's Name the Cake contest at your grocer's, where you buy Kraft Oil. The entry blank gives you the full prize list, news about a special bonus prize, and complete contest rules. Kraft Oil's Name the Cake contest ends in just a few weeks, so get your entry in soon. Remember, you may win a Ford Victoria every year for 5 years or one of 1,850 Dormeyer appliances. Well, Leroy had a chance to babysit with Marjorie's little boy Ronnie, but the great Gildersleeve didn't feel that his nephew was quite ready for this assignment, so he's taking over himself tonight, in spite of the fact that Ronnie expressed a preference for Leroy.
I know Leroy's disappointed. By George, never send a boy to do a man's work, I always say. Oh, well, I'll surprise the boy with a little bonus next allowance day. Yeah, I'll get a couple of magazines and some of Peavy's cigars and be set for the night. Hello, Peavy.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this evening?
I'm staying with little Ronnie this evening, so I want some cigars and I better take a couple of magazines.
Damn well. Leroy tells me he was asked to sit, but you wouldn't let him.
Peavy, babysitting is a serious business, and I insisted on going myself.
Well, I'd say Leroy should prove a very capable sitter. Of course, you've had more experience sitting than he has.
All right, Peavy.
You have quite a broad background.
Peavy, you're treating this very lightly. Caring for children is quite an art, and I happen to have a flair for it.
Oh, my, yes.
Babysitting isn't child's play, you know. You have to be on your toes every minute, ministering to their needs, knowing when to say don't. Quite a responsibility.
Well, when I was growing up, babysitting wasn't a problem. In fact, they hadn't even thought of the word.
Oh? Who sat with the baby when the parents were out?
Well, at my house, the family was so large, we just sat with each other. The larger the family got, the less our parents could afford to go out, so it wasn't a problem. What kind of magazines do you want, Mr. Gildersleeve? I know the kind of cigars you smoke.
Well, are those good cigars, Peavy?
No, but they're the kind you smoke.
Oh.
3 cigars, that'll be 16 cents.
Peavy, no matter what you say, the El Lobo is a good cigar.
Well, you can't get any more for your money unless you want to roll up some old newspapers.
Oh, I don't know why I came in here.
Unky, before I go, shall I write down the things for you to do?
No, Margie, I know how to take care of things.
You better write it down for him, Marge.
Leroy, why are you hanging around?
Well, if I can't sit with Ronnie, I thought I'd watch you sit.
Maybe I'd better write things down, Unky.
It isn't necessary, Marjorie. I've got a mind like a steel trap.
Something snapped, huh?
Young man.
Just kidding, Unc.
Well, remember, Ronnie goes to bed promptly at
8 o'clock.
That's right, Leroy.
Yeah, I know.
And just before bedtime, he always likes
A graham cracker and a glass of milk.
Leroy.
You'll find the graham crackers
In the bread box.
And after I leave, Ronnie will try to tell you this is his night to watch a Western movie.
Yeah?
But it isn't.
Leroy, why don't you go home and study?
Well, sure, just checking you out.
And now, can you remember all that, Unky?
Marjorie, don't worry. I know just how to handle Ronnie. I raised you and Leroy, didn't I?
That's what has her worried.
Leroy, hit the books.
I'm going.
Come along, Leroy. Good night, Ronnie.
Night, Mommy. Night, Leroy.
Good night, kid. Be a good little boy.
Okay, Mommy.
Don't you worry about Ronnie.
Now, Unky, if you want to phone me, Mother Thompson's number is...
Hillside 583.
Confounded Leroy.
We're going.
Think I didn't know the first thing about managing a child.
Have they gone?
Yeah. Ronnie, what are you doing with your cap pistols buckled over your pajamas?
This is my night to watch a Western movie.
It is not. You're not going to put anything over on me.
I'll bet I do.
Yeah, it'll soon be your bedtime. Come along now, and we'll get you graham crackers and milk.
I don't want to go to bed.
Well, let's get things ready anyway. Yeah, pour some milk. Nothing like a glass of milk at bedtime. Yeah, let's see. Where are the graham crackers?
In me.
What?
I already ate them.
Zeke.
Zeke who?
Never mind. Let's take our milk now and paddle off to bed.
But, Uncle Mort, I don't want to go to bed.
Well, climb in bed anyway, and I'll read you a story.
Can't you read the story while I'm watching a Western?
No, Ronnie.
We're missing a lot of cowboys, Uncle Mort.
Well, put your guns away and climb into bed.
And maybe we're missing Indians.
Yeah, I doubt if any Indians are up this late. You drink your milk while I read a story.
I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, this sounds like an interesting story. Little Miss Muffet sat in a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider.
Sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away.
Hey. Oh, you know that one.
I know it until I'm sick of it.
Well, let's try another one. Jack and the Beanstalk.
He cuts down the beanstalk, the giant falls on his head, and they live happily ever after.
Oh, my goodness. Ronnie, it's 8 o'clock. Lights out. Lights out didn't mean much to that boy. He's been up and down like a jack-in-the-box. Hey, 9:30. I don't want to miss Birdie on the radio. Yeah, I'm glad Ronnie got settled at last. Haven't heard anything for the past 15 minutes. What's that? Ronnie up again? He's up. Ronnie, what are you doing? What are you getting it in, a dishpan? That boy, he drinks so much water, I don't know why they don't put a hydrant in his room. Ronnie, what are you doing in the kitchen?
I'm looking for my little cup.
Why don't you get your drink in the bathroom?
I'd rather come way out here to get one.
Back to bed. You have to get to sleep.
Maybe if I look at television, it will put me to sleep.
Screw it, Ronnie. Back in bed. Well, he's settled now. I can get comfortable with the radio. Yeah. Been a busy evening.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, Ronnie, what are you doing?
I'm counting sheep. What comes after 5?
Hey, never mind. It's after 9:30. Now, please be quiet.
Okay. Night.
Good night. I've already missed part of Birdie's program. Quite a cake she baked to put her on the radio.
Uncle Ward.
Yes, Ronnie?
This comes after 5.
I know.
Shh. Now that Birdie Lee Coggins has given you her helpful cooking hints, we have a little surprise.
It ain't no surprise to me. I've been practicing.
That's fine. Birdie will sing one of the top tunes of the day.
You saw me crying in the chapel. The tears I shed were tears of joy. I know the meaning of contentment. Now I'm happy with the Lord. Just a plain and simple chapel where humble people go to pray. I pray the Lord that I'll grow stronger as I live from day to day. I've searched and I've searched, but I couldn't find no way on earth to gain peace of mind. Now I'm happy in the chapel where people are of one accord. We gather in the chapel just to sing and praise the Lord.
Ah, that was beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
By George, it certainly was.
You can sing as well as you can bake cakes. Thank you for being with us, folks. This is WSUM, the voice of Summerfield. And now we present an organ interlude.
Yeah, better turn the radio down a little bit. I want to wake Ronnie. Getting sleepy myself. Yeah, I mustn't fall asleep on the job like some babysitters would. Better turn off the music. Too soothing. Been a long day and an active night. Ronnie was hard to bed down. But the situation's well in hand. Yes, sir.
Uncle Mort. He sure has a big mouth. Shall I wake him up and tell him to shut it? No, let him sleep. He's tired. Ooh, it's dark outside. But Ronnie isn't afraid.
What was that?
Unky?
Well, Marjorie, you're home.
Unky, were you asleep?
You asleep? Yeah, of course not. You're comfortable, but not asleep.
Did everything go all right?
Oh, fine. Great.
Good. I better go in and check Ronnie.
Well, it isn't necessary. He's in bed for hours.
Well, I always like to see that he's covered.
Yeah, let's take a look. He is an active little rascal.
Uncle Mort.
Yeah, we don't want to wake him.
He isn't in his bed.
What? He must be there someplace.
Ronnie? Ronnie?
Ronnie!
Unky, he's gone!
I don't know how you could have gotten out of the house, Marjorie. I was sitting right there.
Let's hope Bernie knows something about him.
Birdie!
Yes, sir?
Bertie, have you seen Ronnie?
Ronnie? No, Miss Marjorie, I just got home.
He's not in his little bed, Birdie.
He's not.
He's gone.
Gone? I thought Mr. Gildersleeve was right there with him.
Birdie, this is no time for thinking. Come on, let's wake up Leroy and search the neighborhood.
Unky, I don't know how you could have let this happen. You, of all people.
Now, Marjorie, let's not get excited. Let's be calm. Let's call the police and the fire department. Leroy! Uh-oh. Here, look, Marjorie.
Oh, there's my baby.
Where is he?
Shh. Sleeping in bed, Leroy.
Ain't that a picture?
Oh, it is to me.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, Leroy, Ronnie wasn't home, and we were just checking.
Ronnie, are you in bed with me?
Yeah. Hello, Mommy.
Hello, Ronnie, baby. And you said you weren't asleep, Uncle Mort?
What a babysitter.
Well, I could have dozed off for a split second. You shouldn't have left me, Ronnie.
But you were snoring so loud I couldn't sleep.
Let's everybody go to bed.
The Great Gildersleeve will be right back. Just a last reminder to get your entry blank for Kraft Oil's sensational Name the Cake contest at your grocer's tomorrow. It's the easiest contest in the world to enter. Just send in a name for the wonderful new cake made with lighter-bodied Kraft Oil. First prize is a new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years. Other prizes include 1,850 Dormeyer electric appliances. Just name the cake that's made with Kraft Oil. Get your entry blank tomorrow.
Hello, Unky, Birdie.
Hello, Miss Marjorie.
Well, it's nice to see you, my dear. I didn't know you'd ever come over again after I went to sleep babysitting last night.
Well, Unky, I've forgotten all about it. It could have happened to anybody, and Ronnie was partly to blame. He's such a little pixie.
Marjorie, I'm delighted you feel that way.
In fact, I brought you a little present.
A present? For me?
Ain't that nice?
Well, thank you, my dear.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to the twins.
You're all right.
What do you suppose it is, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, we'll soon see, Birdie. Marjorie always puts a lot of thought into her gifts. An alarm clock. Good night, folks.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman and is an NBC Radio Network production. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White and is transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Richard Beals, and Dick LeGrand. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
What goes into your favorite sandwich? Maybe it's roast beef or savory baked ham. Whatever your favorite, the perfect meat sandwich needs the perfect mustard. Kraft prepared mustard. For when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. You can take your choice of 2 kinds of Kraft mustard. Mild Kraft mustard is smooth and delicately spiced. Or if you like your mustard with extra pep, try Kraft mustard with snappy horseradish added. Keep them both on hand and keep everyone in the family happy. Next time, get Kraft prepared mustard.
It's Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life tonight on NBC.
Kraft Foods Company, makers of Kraft Oil, present Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you, transcribed by the Kraft Foods Company. Name a cake and win a brand new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years. That's the exciting news about Kraft Oil's big contest. The recipe for the cake comes free when you buy a green cap bottle of Kraft Oil. And the award for the prize-winning name is a new Ford car every year for 5 years. 1,850 other prizes are Dormeyer electric appliances. Complete details in a few minutes. Well, since school began, the great Gildersleeve hasn't seen much of his nephew Leroy. At dinner, the boy is busy eating. After dinner, he's busy with homework. So this morning, as our water commissioner drives his nephew to school, he makes the most of this opportunity to engage Leroy in lively conversation.
Well, my boy, I know you're happy to be back in school.
That's okay.
New season, new faces, new teachers, new students. Must be very stimulating.
It's okay.
How do you like your new teachers?
Okay.
Do you have a good football team?
Okay.
Leroy, you're not contributing much to the conversation. Say something besides okay.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. What's the matter with you?
I'm mad.
Oh?
Don't be surprised if I come home with a black eye.
Leroy, I don't want you fighting. I'd better pick you up after school.
Well, I won't need a ride home. I'm either chasing him home or he's chasing me.
Who are you having trouble with?
Curly Miller.
Curly?
I'll hit him so hard I'll straighten out his hair.
Leroy, what happened between you and Curly?
Well, he started it. He called me a name.
Hey, what did he call you?
Just because you're water commissioner, he called me a drip.
Oop.
And then I called him a goon. Then he called me an egghead, and I said he was a big fat pickle puss. And he said, oh, yeah, and I said, oh, yeah. And he stuck his nose right in my face and said, oh, yeah, and right back.
Yeah, all right. That'll do, young man. And that's no way to treat your little friends.
He's no friend of mine.
Well, perhaps he would be if you'd stop this name calling.
Well?
My boy, the way to get along in life is to have a good word for everybody. The way I do. Well, I try to. You can always find something nice to say about everybody.
Not Curly Miller, that egg-headed pickle puss.
Leroy, stop talking about Curly Egghead. Yeah, I mean Miller. If you're going to say something about him, say something complimentary. There are not many people I don't care for, but I go out of my way to be nice to them. It pays off.
Hey, I'll get off right here, Unc.
Yeah, all right. There's Mrs. Pettibone, the old biddy.
Unc!
What?
What you said.
Well, Mrs. Pettibone's different.
Well, you don't say nice things about her. Why should I be nice to Curly?
Well, Mrs. Pettibone and I have had our differences in the past, but maybe I haven't gone as far as I should to be agreeable.
You tell me what to do, but it's not easy to do it yourself, is it, Unc?
Yes, it is. By George, let me out of the car. Mrs. Pettibone!
I gotta see this.
Well, I want you to. Come along. Good morning, Mrs. Pettibone. Oh, Mrs. Pettibone?
Why's she walking faster, Unc?
Mrs. Pettibone.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes, indeed.
And Leroy.
Hi.
Well, I'm surprised to see you on the school grounds, Mr. Gildersleeve. Or are you determined to finish your formal education?
As a matter of fact, I got out of the car just to speak to you.
Oh, well, I'm in a dreadful hurry. I want to see the principal about a school board matter. I'm the chairman of the board, you know.
Oh, I assumed that. I can't think of anyone more capable.
Get him.
Thank you. Well, good day.
In fact, when it comes to civic activities, we know you'll always be right there at the top of the heap.
Well, I only do my duty.
Well, I don't know how you find time to be so charming and so gracious and look so beautiful.
Why, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, brother.
Oh, really? Really, I mean it. You look every bit as young as a schoolgirl yourself.
A schoolgirl? Really?
Well, perhaps a senior.
What an operator.
Oh. Now, Mr. Gildersleeve, careful or you'll be bordering on flattery.
Oh, not at all. Well, I won't keep you. No, you're busy. But I couldn't resist chatting. It's always a pleasure and an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Thank you, Mrs. Pettibone. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Well, Leroy, what do you think of that?
I think you should wash your mouth out with soap.
I wonder how Leroy got along in school this morning. George, flattering Mrs. Pettibone worked like a charm. I must have used pretty good bird seed to get a song out of that old biddy. I think I'll stop in Peavy's. Haven't had lunch at his counter in quite a while. Hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you today?
I thought I'd have lunch with you, Peavy. I haven't eaten here in about a month.
No, you haven't.
You have that same blue plate special?
No, I sold that one 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
But, I'll be glad you picked up another one, if you don't mind having the blue plate lunch on a white plate.
Well, that's all right, Peavy.
I broke the last blue plate.
Why don't you serve on paper plates?
They don't stand up when you wash them.
Yes.
By the way, Mrs. Pettibone was in the pharmacy this morning.
Yeah? I saw her at school when I took Leroy.
You must have made quite an impression, Mr. Gildersleeve.
What do you mean, Peavy?
She had some nice things to say about you.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it is. When she came in raving about you, I thought her dizzy spells were coming back.
No, Peavy.
She said she was thinking of recommending you to fill the vacancy on the school board.
Me? Say, that'd be quite an honor.
She asked me what I thought.
What'd you tell her?
I didn't tell her what I thought. I told her to put you on.
Peavy.
I'm just having a little fun, Mr. Gildersleeve. I know you have the best interests of the school at heart.
You bet. I'll have to let the little family know about this. So, she wants to be on the school board.
Excuse me, I'll get some rolls.
You go right ahead, Peavy. Right, George, a fellow can get about anything he wants if he spreads it on thick enough. I'll bet I could even get a free lunch out of Peavy.
Here we are. Blue plate on a white plate.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
It does?
Yes, indeed. I've always considered Birdie a good cook, but you've outdone her with this blue plate.
You don't say.
It's attractively served. Tastes like food Mother used to make. This turkey wing is delicious, Peavy. How do you prepare it?
I buy it at the corner delicatessen.
Well, I know you make your own potato salad. Nothing like it. How about another helping?
Mr. Gildersleeve, you remind me of a man who was in here the other day talking about how good my food was. He asked for 2 helpings of everything.
Yeah? Connoisseur of foods like me?
No, he was broke.
Peavy, I'm not trying to get something for nothing.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Boy, am I in trouble. Why did the new principal have to come along right when I was calling Curly a pickle puss? Well, she's kind of young. Maybe I can get out of it if I work that flattery stuff on her like Unc did Mrs. Pettibone. Well, here goes nothing.
Come in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, it's you, Leroy.
Yes, ma'am. Did you wish to see me, Miss Henshaw?
Yes. Sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
I assume you know why you were called in.
Well, about the pickle puss. I didn't mean you.
I'm aware of that. Now, about you and the Miller boy.
Yes, ma'am, but before we talk about that, may I tell you how glad we students are to have you as our principal this year?
Oh?
I can't think of anyone more capable.
Well,
It's easy to see why you're at the top of the heap.
really?
I don't know how you find time to be so charming and gracious.
Well,
And look so beautiful. You look as young as a schoolgirl yourself.
go on.
Well, that's all I have to say.
That's quite a lot. Leroy, you must have gotten this from someone else.
How'd you know?
Did someone tell you to say these nice things to me?
No. He said I should say them to everybody.
Leroy, who gives you such advice?
My uncle.
Uh-huh.
He says it pays off. It doesn't, huh?
Well, a kind word is always appreciated, but outright flattery is another thing.
Well, I guess you're sharper than Mrs. Pettibone.
Mrs. Pettibone?
Yeah, she didn't see through Unc this morning. She fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
I see. Mrs. Pettibone told me this morning she was recommending your uncle for the school board.
She did?
How well does she know Mr. Gildersleeve?
Not so good. When Unc paid her phony compliments this morning, she ate it up.
Leroy, I think I should have a talk with your uncle.
Am I in that much trouble?
Somebody's in trouble.
Well, this is the first time the principal ever sent for me. Leroy must have paid no attention to my advice. Well, I'll smooth things out. If I'm going to be on the school board, it won't hurt to turn on the charm for the new principal. You'll probably catch her in her office about now.
That must be Mr. Gildersleeve coming up the walk. He isn't a bad-looking man. Little overgrown, perhaps. I can't believe he'd be so obvious in trying to impress people. Leroy must be mistaken. Boys exaggerate so.
Miss Henshaw?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, Leroy's uncle.
Oh, yes, Mr. Gildersleeve.
And city water commissioner.
Yes, I know.
You wanted to see me, I believe.
I hope I didn't get you away from something important at the water department.
Well, nothing's going to happen while I'm away from the office that I won't know about. I have pipelines all over town.
Well, I won't keep you but a minute, Commissioner.
Yeah, that's all right. As a matter of fact, I may soon be spending quite a lot of time around the school. Some influential friends are backing me for the vacancy on the school board, you know.
I've heard about that.
Yeah? Gotten around town already?
Congratulations. Now, Commissioner, I'd like to talk to you about Leroy.
Leroy? I was just trying to set my nephew right this morning. He has the wrong slant on getting along with people.
I agree. In all my years working with students, I don't believe that I have ever seen...
No, Miss Henshaw. You couldn't have spent many years working with students. You look like a schoolgirl yourself.
Oh?
Well, of course, it wouldn't take you long to go far.
Really?
You have a head on your shoulders. That's why you're at the top of the heap.
I didn't know anybody could heap it so high.
If I may say so, Miss Henshaw, with your problems and duties here in school, I don't know how you find the time to be so charming and gracious.
Well.
And look so beautiful.
Go on, Commissioner.
Go on.
I can't wait to tell Mrs. Pettibone the nice things you're saying to me.
Why should you tell Mrs. Pettibone?
Because they're the same nice things you said to her.
She told you?
Mr. Gildersleeve, you may think you're batting 1,000, but you hit into a triple play.
A triple play?
From Mrs. Pettibone to Leroy to me.
I guess I'm out.
The great Gildersleeve will be back in just a minute. Never before has there been a contest like the new Kraft Oil Contest. First prize is a new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years. Not only that, there are 1,850 other prizes, 1,850 valuable Dormeyer electric appliances. You can enter. You may win. Just name a luscious new cake made with Kraft oil. When you buy a green-capped bottle of Kraft oil, you get the recipe free of extra cost. It's printed on the inside of the label. Bake the cake, enjoy it, and send Kraft the name you think best describes how good it is. First prize is a smart new Ford every year for 5 years. You get a deluxe Ford Victoria the first year, and then trade it in on the newest model every year for the next 4 years at no further cost to you. Additional prizes include 100 Dormeyer electric broiler rotisseries, 200 Dormeyer electric blankets, 200 Dormeyer power mixers, 250 Dormeyer portable mixers, and 1,100 Dormeyer fry wells. You'll find entry blanks for Kraft Oil's Name the Cake contest at your grocer's where you buy Kraft Oil. The entry blank includes the full prize list, news about a special bonus prize, and complete contest rules. Kraft Oil's Name the Cake contest ends soon, so get your entry in right away. Remember, you may win a Ford Victoria every year for 5 years, or one of 1,850 Dormeyer electric appliances. Well, the great Gildersleeve has been trying to teach his nephew Leroy that a kind word is better than a harsh word. He tried to set an example for Leroy by paying Mrs. Pettibone elaborate compliments. In fact, he stretched the truth so far, it snapped back at him.
Birdie, this may cost me that appointment to the school board.
Yes, sir.
Leroy, you didn't have to tell the principal the same things I told Mrs. Pettibone.
Well, gosh, you shouldn't have told the principal the same things you told Mrs. Pettibone either.
Well, I'll admit I went a little overboard. But I was right in principle, wasn't I, Birdie?
You were right in principle, but you was also in wrong with the principal.
How about that, Birdie? He hands out the same line to everybody.
Well, I only meant to do good. Ladies like to hear nice things about themselves, don't they, Birdie?
Yes, sir, but if you use a good line too often, it wears out.
Oh, well.
You take a fishing line, use it too often, it wears out.
Yeah, I know.
Take a clothesline, load it down with wet wash too often, it wears out.
Yeah, all right,
Miss
Birdie.
Gildersleeve, you know why that good line of yours wore out?
Yes, Birdie.
That's right, you use it too often.
Well, that's the last time I'm using a line. I thought it was worthwhile to make people feel good, even if you did stretch a point. Well, from now on, I'll be sincere. I may even take back some of the nice things I've said about people. Hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you today?
Give me the biggest, blackest, meanest cigar you've got.
You want a cigar or a smudge pot?
Well, I guess I'm just in a mood, Peavy.
Well, I hope I didn't contribute to it. Here's the cigars.
What do you mean?
Well, when you were in here last, you complimented me on the food, and I didn't even thank you.
Oh, well, forget it. Your food wasn't that good.
How's that?
You know the stuff you serve here is very mediocre, Peavy.
That's what I say.
You're not upset because I'm telling you the truth about your food?
I know. I don't know why people come in here to eat. This is a drugstore.
You see? That proves my point. You don't have to say complimentary things to people to get along with them. Peavy, do you know I may lose that appointment to the school board just because I went out of my way to flatter a couple of people?
That'd be too bad if you lost that appointment.
Yeah, I'll say. I've already told the mayor I was accepting the job. And all of my friends found out about it.
Who from?
Well, me. But from now on, I'm going to be sincere. I'm sticking to the truth until it hurts. I'm going to hew to a line. Never deviate.
Excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, but isn't that Baldwin Hogan getting out of his car out front?
Yeah, I wonder how he ever got to be head of Hogan Brothers.
He's one of the brothers. What do you have against him?
Well, he's a backslapper, Peavy. I've gotten pretty suspicious of his ilk.
Why, I always considered him quite an agreeable fellow.
He's not sincere.
Oh, now, Mr. Gildersleeve, you don't have to jump on Baldwin.
Well, I'm just telling the truth.
Good morning, Mr. Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Hogan.
You're looking great, Mr. Peavy. You must be taking your own vitamins.
There he goes.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. What can I do for you?
Well, give me a box of cigars.
He pretends he doesn't see me.
Very well. What kind of cigars do you smoke?
Any kind except these big black ones on the counter.
Hogan, that's what I'm smoking.
Oh, is that you, Gildersleeve? I didn't recognize you behind your smoke screen.
You saw me, Baldwin?
No, I really didn't. You know I always go out of my way to say hello, especially to our distinguished water commissioner.
Hogan, flattery will get you nowhere.
My.
Gildersleeve, what's gotten into you?
I just don't like an insincere person.
I don't understand.
You go out of your way to be nice one day and ignore me the next.
I did not ignore you. I guess I just didn't expect to see you here. I thought you might be in your office working for us taxpayers.
I do my job, Hogan.
That's reassuring.
Hogan, I'll have you know I'm so well thought of in the community, I've been mentioned for the post on the school board.
Well, I don't know where they'd find a bigger post for the job.
Touche.
You watch it, Hogan.
For your information, Gildersleeve, I was approached about that vacancy just today.
Well, they talked to me yesterday. Second choice.
Second choice?
Touche'd right back.
Gildersleeve, I'll have you know I refuse to serve because of my many other civic duties.
You did.
But if it boils down to a contest between us, I'll go out and get that appointment.
But, Hogan, you just said you were loaded down with important civic duties.
Yes, but I just want to see the better man have the job.
Not if I can help it.
That's you, Miss Gildersleeve?
Yes, Birdie.
I thought that was you.
Yes.
This telephone call this afternoon.
Mrs. Pettibone?
Yes, sir. She wanted to know if you was home, and I said you wouldn't be home till after 5, and she said okay, she'd be by to talk things over with you about the school board.
Well, I guess she thinks coming by personally will soften the blow.
Come again?
She wants to let me down easy, Birdie. Tell me I didn't get the school board appointment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hogan of Hogan Brothers got it.
Yes, sir. That Mr. Hogan's on about everything, ain't he?
Yeah, he manages pretty well, the backslapper. But I told him off, and I guess he went right to Mrs. Pettibone.
Yes, sir.
Wait till I talk to her. I'll have a few firecrackers to light under him.
Yes, sir.
Birdie!
I'm in here talking to your Uncle Leroy.
Oh, hi, Unc.
Hello, my boy.
Birdie, have you got enough dinner tonight for me to ask Curly Miller over?
I think so. I'll go make sure we have.
Great. I'll go tell him.
Wait a minute, Leroy. What's this about asking Curly to dinner?
Yeah, he wants me over for Sunday dinner, so I thought I'd ask him tonight.
You aren't calling each other names anymore?
Sure. He calls me Old Buddy, and I call him Old Pal.
Well, I'm delighted.
Yeah, Unc. Your advice about speaking a good word paid off.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Sometimes you go overboard, but you always set the right example.
Well, Never mind, Birdie. I expect it's Mrs. Pettibone.
Gosh, is she coming over?
Yeah, talk about the school board job.
Yeah? I hope you get it, Unc.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Mrs. Pettibone. Come right in.
Thank you. I trust Birdie gave you my message.
Yes, I've been expecting you. Won't you sit down?
Yes, and I'll come right to the point. You know, this is a rather difficult subject to discuss with you.
I know, Mrs. Pettibone.
I realize I came to you first, but how would you feel if Mr. Baldwin Hogan got the appointment?
Well...
Of course, he's extremely active in civic affairs and numerous clubs.
Yes, he
but
is.
Tell me candidly, do you think Mr. Hogan would really work for the schools, or is he just a joiner?
Well, Mrs. Pettibone,
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve?
I don't really think he joins organizations just for the publicity.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that. But he's so busy. I wonder if he'd have as much spare time as you. Oh, not that you don't keep our water running smoothly.
Well...
But perhaps you have the faculty of appearing not to be busy when you're thinking all the time. Clankety-clank, clankety-clank. Wheels turning, you know.
Well, Miss Pettibone, I can't deny I have some spare time.
Oh, Oh, then you think Mr. Hogan would be too busy.
No. Sometimes it's the busy people who can always find time for another project and do it well.
Well, thank you. Oh, you were talking about Mr. Hogan, weren't you?
Yes. I think he'd make a very fine member of the school board.
Oh, what a splendid recommendation. You must be a good friend of his.
Friend? Well, yes, indeed. Good old Baldwin.
Well, I must be running along now. Oh, thank you for your time, Mr. Gildersleeve.
No, not at all, Mrs. Pettibone.
You've helped me immeasurably in making up my mind.
Great.
Goodbye, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Goodbye, Mrs. Pettibone.
Unc, I couldn't help hearing that big bill-up you gave Mr. Hogan.
You?
But you threw your school board appointment out the window. You must feel terrible.
Oh, not at all, my boy. Let's forget it. Hey, what time's your new friend Curly coming to dinner? We may have time for all three of us to go out and kick the football.
You're swell, Unc.
The great Gildersleeve will be back with us again in just 30 seconds. When you're shopping tomorrow, get a green cap bottle of Kraft Oil at your grocer's, and along with it, a free entry blank for Kraft Oil's exciting Name the Cake contest. The winner of this contest gets a new Ford Victoria every year for 5 years. Or you may win one of 1,850 Dormeyer electric appliances. All you do is name the luscious new cake made with Kraft Oil. Get your entry blank tomorrow.
Well, school's out, but I don't see Leroy.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Uh-oh, the principal. Hello, Miss Henshaw.
I understand they chose Mr. Hogan for the school board practically on your recommendation.
Well...
That was very unselfish of you.
Well, I'd like to have had the job.
I think it's wonderful that men like you and Mr. Hogan take such an interest in our schools.
Well, you teachers can't do it all.
No, we need everybody's help and active participation if we're going to build better schools, because better schools build better communities.
Well, I still expect to work for better schools.
Wonderful.
And I wouldn't mind doing a little work for the principal.
For instance?
Well, I could chauffeur you home.
I accept. I'm a little tired.
Well, maybe it'd be restful to take in a movie this evening.
I think it might.
Why, George, I didn't get the school board job today. But tonight I've got the principal. Good night, Pop.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman and is an NBC Radio Network production. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White and is transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Kathy Lewis, Lillian Randolph, Margaret Brayton, Patrick McGeehan, and Dick LeGrand. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next week and every week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Delicious cold cuts for luncheon or supper make a welcome change of pace from the hot meals you've been serving. Easy to fix, too, but here's a tip. Be sure there's delicious Kraft prepared mustard on the table, because when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. There are two kinds of Kraft mustard. Mild Kraft mustard, so smooth and delicately spiced, and Kraft mustard with snappy horseradish added to give it extra zip. Keep both kinds on hand for different tastes. Next time, get Kraft prepared mustard.
Hear the Magic 28 October 4th on NBC.